You don't have a time problem. You have an attention problem. And this problem is bigger than most people think, because you are not only getting distracted, you are being pulled away again and again. Look at your day, not the day you wanted to have, the day you actually lived, the real one, the honest one. How many times did you pick up your phone today without even thinking? How many times did you open an app and forget why you opened it? How many times did you say, just 1 minute, and then lose much more than 1 minute? That is not random. That is not small. That is not harmless. That is design. Many apps, many platforms, many companies are built to hold your attention. They want you to stay. They want you to keep scrolling. They want you to keep watching. They want you to keep clicking. Because the longer you stay, the more they win, and the more you lose. You lose focus, you lose energy, you lose time, you lose peace, and slowly you lose control. The dangerous part is this: it does not feel dangerous. It feels normal. It feels like a small break. It feels like a short rest. It feels like freedom. But it is not freedom, because if you cannot control where your attention goes, then something else is controlling it. And where your attention goes, your life goes. What you look at every day shapes how you think. How you think shapes how you act. How you act shapes your future. So attention is not a small thing. It is one of the biggest things in your life. You wake up, and before your brain is fully awake, you check your phone. Messages, videos, posts, noise. Before your own thoughts even start, the world enters your mind, and that changes your whole day. You sit down to do something important, but your mind feels weak, restless, uncomfortable. You want to leave. You want something easy. So you check your phone again, just for a moment, just a quick break. But that quick break becomes another escape. And every time you escape, you teach your brain something. You teach it. Hard things can wait. Easy things come first. Discomfort should be avoided. That lesson becomes a habit. That habit becomes your life. After a while, reading feels hard. Working feels hard. Thinking deeply feels hard. Sitting in silence feels strange. Even simple focus feels heavy. Not because you are lazy, not because you are weak, but because your mind has been trained to jump, to switch, to chase easy stimulation. And if you do not stop this, it spreads into everything. Your goals, your discipline, your sleep, your work, your peace, your confidence. Because when you cannot hold attention, you cannot build anything strong. And deep down, you already know this. You know you are wasting more focus than you should. You know your mind is more scattered than before. You know you are not fully in control, and that is where change starts. Not when you blame yourself, not when you feel ashamed, but when you finally see the truth. Your attention is being stolen. And if you want your life back, you have to take it back. A lot of people say, I don't have time. But many times, that is not the real problem. The real problem is this: you do have time, but you don't use it in the right direction. You move all day, but not toward what matters. You stay busy, but not effective. You do many things, but not the right things. And that is why, at the end of the day, you feel tired, but not proud. You feel full, but not fulfilled. You feel like you did a lot, but nothing important moved. That is what happens when life has no clear direction. Without direction, small things take over. Messages take over. Notifications take over. Other people take over. Urgent little problems take over. And then your whole day gets used without being truly chosen by you. That is why many people feel trapped, not because they have no hours, but because their hours are broken into small pieces. Their energy is spread everywhere. Their attention is given to everything. And when attention goes everywhere, results go nowhere. Direction is powerful. Direction tells you what matters. Direction tells you what can wait. Direction tells you what deserves your energy and what does not. Without direction, everything feels important. And when everything feels important, you get overwhelmed. You jump from thing to thing. You start, stop, switch, and repeat. That is why many people are active, but not progressing. They are moving, but not arriving. They are trying, but not building. And deep inside, they can feel it. That quiet frustration, that feeling that life is not being used well, that feeling that something important is missing. Usually, that missing thing is clarity. Because once you become clear, your day changes. You stop giving energy to every small thing. You stop reacting to every noise. You stop living like your phone is your leader. You start choosing. You start deciding. You start protecting your time. And time feels different when it has purpose. 1 hour with direction can be stronger than a whole day without it. That is why more time is not always the answer. More time without direction can still be wasted, but clear direction can make even a small amount of time powerful. So the question is not only, how much time do I have? The real question is, what am I using my time for? What am I really building? What truly matters? Because if you do not answer that, your day will be controlled by whatever comes first. And whatever comes first is usually not what matters most. Most people are waiting for motivation. They want to feel ready. They want to feel excited. They want to feel strong. They want to feel in the mood. And that is exactly why they stay stuck. Because motivation is not stable. It comes and goes. Some mornings you feel good. Some mornings you don't. Some days you feel powerful. Some days you feel tired. Some days you want to work. Some days you want to hide. If your actions depend on motivation, your actions will always be weak because feelings change. That is normal. That is human. But if you want a strong life, you need something stronger than feelings. You need standards. Standards are different. Standards say, this is what I do. Not when I feel great. Not only when life is easy. Not only when I am inspired. But because this is the kind of person I choose to be. That is real strength. A person with low standards says, I'll do it tomorrow. I'm not in the mood. I'll wait until I feel ready. A person with standards says, I may not feel perfect, but I still move. That changes everything, because now life is no longer built on feelings. It is built on identity, on rules, on self-respect, on what you will and will not allow. Right now, many people allow too much. They allow distractions. They allow delay. They allow broken promises. They allow lazy habits. They allow weak effort. Then they wonder why life feels weak. But life follows standards. What you accept becomes normal. What becomes normal becomes your future. If your standard is low, you will keep living low. If your standard rises, your behavior starts to rise with it. Not perfectly, but steadily. That is important. You do not need perfect action. You need repeated action. You need honest action. You need action that happens even when feelings are weak. That is where trust is built. Trust in yourself, confidence in yourself, respect for yourself. Because real confidence does not come from saying nice things to yourself. It comes from seeing yourself do hard things. It comes from seeing yourself keep your word. It comes from seeing yourself return again and again. So ask yourself, what standard am I living by? What do I allow too often? Where do I keep giving up? Where do I keep making excuses? Because the truth is, your life is not only shaped by what you want, it is shaped by what you accept. And if you want a stronger life, you need stronger standards. Most people think they are only wasting a few minutes, but that is not true. They are wasting much more than that, because time is not usually lost in one big moment. It is lost in small moments. One extra scroll, one extra video, one extra delay, one more break, one more excuse. None of these feel big. That is why they are dangerous, because small waste repeated many times becomes a big loss. Minutes become hours. Hours become days. Days become months. And then people look back and feel pain, not because they had no chance, but because they did not stay focused long enough. That is the hidden cost. Not only lost time, lost progress, lost momentum, lost self-trust, lost opportunities, because every time you keep leaving the important thing, you break the flow. And flow matters. Momentum matters. Staying with one thing matters. That is how skill grows. That is how work gets done. That is how real change happens. But if you keep switching, you stay on the surface. You never go deep. You touch many things, but build very little. And then you feel tired, but not satisfied. That is a painful feeling, because being tired after real work feels good. But being tired after wasting attention feels empty. One gives you pride, the other gives you guilt. And many people live with that guilt every day. They know they could do more. They know they are capable of more. They know they are not using themselves well, but they stay in the cycle. Busy, distracted, tired, behind. Then they ask, why can't I focus? Why can't I stay consistent? Why do I keep wasting time? The answer is not always deep. Sometimes it is simple. You have trained yourself to escape. You have trained yourself to switch. You have trained yourself to break attention. And what is trained can be changed. But first, you have to see the truth clearly. You are wasting more than you think. Not because you are bad, not because you are hopeless, but because small distractions have become normal, and what is normal often goes unchallenged. That must change, because your life is too valuable to be spent in fragments. A lot of people are waiting for clarity. They say, I need to know exactly what to do first. I need a perfect plan. I need to be sure. I need to feel ready. But that is why they stay stuck. Because clarity usually does not come before action. It comes after action. You move first, then you understand more. You start first, then the path becomes clearer. You act first, then confidence begins to grow. This is how life works. Not everything is clear at the beginning, and that is okay. You do not need to see the whole road. You only need to take the next step. That next step teaches you something. Then the next step teaches you more. That is how clarity is built. Not by waiting forever, not by overthinking, not by trying to solve the whole future in your head. Because too much thinking without action creates confusion. You think more, you doubt more, you hesitate more, you become more afraid. Then you do nothing, and doing nothing makes you feel even worse. That is the trap. You think waiting will make things clearer, but often waiting makes things heavier. The mind gets crowded, fear gets bigger, simple things feel complicated, small steps feel huge, and all of this happens because action is missing. Action has power. Action cuts through mental fog. Action shows you what is real. Action gives feedback. Action gives proof. Action builds confidence, not fake confidence, real confidence. The kind that comes from seeing yourself move. The kind that comes from doing what you said you would do. So if you feel lost right now, maybe you are not truly lost. Maybe you are just standing still. Maybe you are waiting too long. Maybe you are trying to feel certain instead of trying to be brave. Because courage often comes before clarity, not after. You do not need one perfect answer. You need one honest step. Write the first page. Start the first workout. Make the first call. Read the first chapter. Do the first task. That is enough. Because once you move, something starts to change. Your mind gets quieter, your direction gets stronger, your fear gets smaller, not all at once, but enough to continue. And sometimes continuing is all you need. Now let's be honest, you already know more than you think. You know what matters. You know what you keep avoiding. You know what habit is hurting you. You know what action you keep delaying. You know where your time goes. You know where your focus breaks. You know where you are lying to yourself. The problem is not that you know nothing. The problem is that you are not acting enough on what you already know. That is where many people suffer. They collect advice, they watch videos, they make plans, they think deeply, they promise themselves change, but when the moment comes, they still wait, they still delay, they still escape. Not because they are stupid, not because they are broken, but because action is uncomfortable, and comfort is easy. That is the fight. Comfort now or growth later. Easy now or better later. Escape now or freedom later. You usually cannot have both. That is why your actions matter so much, because your actions tell the truth. Your words can say one thing, your plans can say one thing, your dreams can say one thing, but your actions show what is really winning. If distraction keeps winning, that will shape your future. If action keeps winning, that will shape your future too. There is no neutral. Every day you are training something. You are training focus or distraction. You are training courage or avoidance. You are training discipline or excuses. You are training self-trust or self-doubt. That is why small daily choices matter so much. They look small, but they build identity, and identity builds life. So here is the truth. You already know what to do. Maybe not every step. Maybe not the whole path. But you know the next honest step. And that is enough. Enough to begin. Enough to break the pattern. Enough to prove to yourself that you are still in control. Because real change does not begin with a perfect life plan. It begins with one real action, one true move, one promise kept, one moment where you choose what matters instead of what is easy. That moment matters. That moment changes something inside you. It tells your mind, I can still choose. I can still move. I can still take my life back. And once you feel that, really feel that, you do not want to lose it. So do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for perfect mood. Do not wait for a magical moment. Take one step now. 1. That is enough to begin. If this hit you, subscribe. Not for me, for the stronger version of you, the calmer version of you, the focused version of you, the version of you that stops running and starts building. Because this is not the end. This is the beginning.